guys, welcome back to our podcast Grim Reading Kings, where we talk about anything spooky and strange. My name is Sammy, and I'm here with my co-host Tom and Tamsin.
Welcome.
We upload our podcast every Monday, and if you want to watch us, we upload every episode to our YouTube channel every Friday. We also have a Patreon where we upload a full, uncut, unedited episode every Monday, and a Facebook page where you can join in on conversations. Tell us your stories and share your thoughts on each weekly episode. All of these are linked in our description, so please do check them all out and subscribe. And if you enjoyed these stories, please give us a like and a thumbs up.
Just like that.
Chewbacca here as well.
So my name is Tom.
My name is Sammy.
I'm Tamsin.
Where we talk about anything and everything spooky and strange.
In this series we discuss film curses,
Dark history.
Murder mystery.
local stories,
Chapoke.
Out right now.
That's how you kill someone.
I'm going to do a warning.
actual human skeletons.
Psychopathic tendencies.
The last thing to know is the actual injury.
Right, let's go again.
So welcome back to another series. And in this series, we are discussing the dark side of Hollywood. And on today's episode, I am going to be talking about Elvis Presley and Colonel Tom Parker. Elvis Aaron Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi on the 8th of January 1935. His twin brother, Jesse Garon, was stillborn, leaving Elvis to grow up as an only child. His parents, Vernon and Gladys, were poor and struggled to make ends meet. They had to partially rely on the government assistance to support the family, but Elvis was the apple of his parents' eyes, and they always ensured he had enough to get by. Elvis became very close to his mother and relied on her as a source of emotional support as he became more famous. He and his parents moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1948, which is where his musical influences began. He loved the pop and country music of the time, the gospel music he heard in church, and at the all-night gospel sings he frequently attended, and the black R&B he absorbed on historic Beale Street as a Memphis teenager. He then started to take music much more seriously and would spend hours a day practicing guitar. He even occasionally performed in public before he graduated high school. In 1953, when Elvis was 18 years old, he got a day job driving a truck for an electrical company, and he devoted all his time off to singing and playing. Later that year, he went to the studios at Sun Records, claiming he wanted to rent some time and record a couple of songs as a gift for his mother, who loved to hear him sing. Whilst there, he took the opportunity to try and make connections with other musicians. He asked the receptionist if there were any bands looking for a singer, and when she asked what kind of singer he was, Elvis responded, "I don't sound like nobody."
Fucking, that's the truest thing
So
ever.
slick.
Honestly, though, but what I thought was, that's a double negative, so technically he sounds like everybody.
Right,
Which he
Sammy,
could do.
You do.
But, sorry,
you don't need to be like that, okay?
I love Elvis, but
I hate a double negative.
They were there.
But I hate a double negative more.
We
So,
hate them over here,
so
you know?
yeah, I don't sound like
You've
nobody.
got to remember he's American and he's from Memphis. That's how they sound. But over here, we fucking hate the dog.
We hate dogs. I fucking...
hate dogs in Britain. We don't have any.
Also, you know when he drove his truck for his job?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a fly on the wall listening to him like singing inside the truck on songs?
I didn't think of that.
I know.
You would be singing and driving along. After listening to Elvis record the songs for his mother, the receptionist passed his details on to the head of the studio, Sam Phillips. Phillips had been searching a long time for a white man who sounded like a black artist. In his words, if he could ever find such a singer, he would make $1 billion. At the time, there was a great prejudice against music written and performed by black musicians. Radio stations with DJs who were white would refuse to play any music by black singers and groups. Very few black performers were able to find success. Sam Phillips, a white man, loved music by black musicians. He knew that if he could find a way to deliver music like that to white audiences, he would sell a ton of records. And when he listened to Elvis's demo, he thought he had found the singer he was searching for. When Elvis was 19 in 1954, Phillips called him back to the studio. After hearing him sing again, he felt Elvis had potential but needed more practice, and called in two experienced musicians, Scotty Moore and Bill Black, to help him find a good song for Elvis to record. After hours of trial and error, Elvis performed the song "That's Alright" by Arthur Crudup.
Dancing around a mama.
I don't know that one, guys. Don't know it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you would know if you heard it. Because
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
I didn't know that was his first. I didn't
the
know.
first one he recorded for
Wow.
people, yeah. So yeah, That's Alright by Arthur Crudup, a groundbreaking black singer and guitarist. Phillips found Elvis's rendition amazing and sent a recording of it out to the local radio station. A couple of days later, his song was a big hit. After That's Alright's success, Elvis started touring around southern United States. By the next year, he had become a star. So that's Elvis's a little briefing on his backstory.
Imagine seeing him live, like back in his day, like that is a dream.
I feel like, before he went to the army.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry, you got a hairy face.
Sorry.
Well, I guess after though.
Yeah. Yeah, after the Vegas shows.
Yeah.
But
before he was really sweet and naive and like little baby.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Vegas shows is when he wasn't happy. So that's when it makes me feel sad. I'd rather see him before that.
Yeah.
Like, we're caught in the crowd. Mm-hmm. I would love to be around like them.
Yeah.
Tom Parker, born as Andreas Cornelius Van Kuch.
If it is Kuick. Yeah, that's why they never left the honor.
So he was born in the Netherlands in 1909. He entered the United States illegally when he was 20 years old.
Oh my god.
Fair play.
Wait to get your fucking shit in on. He adopted the new name Thomas Andrew Parker and claimed to have been born in the United States. He started his life in America in the army, meaning he automatically renounced his Dutch citizenship. But this did not mean he automatically got his US citizenship. So he was a citizen of nowhere, basically.
Wow.
A couple of years go by and he went AWOL, meaning away without leave.
That's true.
From the army.
Sorry, in the UK that means absent without leave.
So
Yeah,
absent,
I've
away is same thing. So basically left without permission to leave.
He gone.
Because he found out there was a circus in town.
Fair play.
So before this, just quickly, when he was in the Netherlands, he loved the circus, and he did actually work with the circus for a while before he came to the United States. So he had some sort of obsession with the circus, like the circus life.
And showmanship.
I was going to say, the showmanship of it all.
Yeah. So he spent 5 months travelling around with this circus until he got caught. His punishment was 2 months in military prison in solitary confinement.
Oh.
Wait, did he get caught in a trap? Sorry.
Did he not go back?
Because he loves you so much,
Do you love
baby.
Was he a teddy bear?
Which caused him to have a complete mental breakdown that led him to being diagnosed as a psychopath, and he was discharged from the army on medical grounds. He ran straight back to the circus and became a carny.
No way! I didn't know this.
Sounds like that was on purpose then. He knew what he was doing. He's like a very clever man, to be fair.
So basically, obviously, if you're a carny in the circus, it's runaways.
Yeah.
So people who don't want to be...
At that time.
They're not
Yeah.
They're not conformists.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
They can disappear,
yeah.
basically.
They're the best showmen on the planet, aren't they? They're just...
Yeah. Fakers. He knew exactly what he was doing, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who knew him believed he was an orphan with no siblings and grew up in the circus as a carny. He spoke with a strange accent and had a speech impediment, which meant he could not pronounce his R's. So you think of Jonathan Ross.
What?
Jonathan Ross.
Yeah.
He had that impediment. They also assumed how he spoke was because of where he claimed to be from in West Virginia, as they were never sure what the accents sounded like.
Was this something he was putting on then? Or
No.
he genuinely had a speech impediment?
Yeah.
He genuinely had a
Wow.
speech impediment, and I think from moving to the US, he tried to take on the American accent, but it still had a weird twang to it.
Yeah.
So people were like, oh, he's just from West Virginia.
So if you have a weird accent, you're just automatically from West Virginia.
That's where he claimed he was from.
I see.
Yeah, they didn't really know what people sounded like. that were from there, so they're like, oh, fair enough, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a bit quirky.
Just think it's he moved over to the US when he was 20, so he's had his whole adult life pretty much speaking his normal accent, and now he's got to try and act American.
Yeah, exactly.
And get rid of his speech impediment.
Yeah, which he
No,
could.
well, he wouldn't.
Nah,
do
he
that, no.
No.
carried on fucking
It's wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think that was a thing.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, actually.
Presley, yeah.
Or it would be Wesley.
Wesley.
Oh, yeah, it would, yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
Wow. I find speech impediments really endearing. I know that sounds really condescending. But I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got one, but then I don't know whether it's just because my eyes move faster than my brain, or my brain
Could
moves
be.
faster. I don't know, one or the other. That's why I mess up so much.
I developed one a bit more severe after COVID, but I have always had one with my V's and my F's. So I
Yeah.
can't say van and van.
Fan and fan?
Yeah, fan and fan.
Okay.
Fan and van.
Yeah. You have to
Very-
really think about it.
Yeah, I can't do F's and V's, basically.
Fair enough. In the late 1930s, he did briefly work as an animal rescue field agent for the Humane Society, but couldn't resist making some extra cash on the side and set up a pet cemetery, charging people to bury their pets there with the full funeral service and headstones. So I read, so basically the headstones cost like, I think it was $15, maybe $25.
Oh, wow.
It was one or the other. But he would charge $50 for the whole service. So
Oh,
he was basically
Did
making.
he sing?
No, I doubt
No.
it. He just probably was like,
Well,
Yeah,
Colonel
very-
Parker's.
Yeah.
yeah. He also set up another little side hustle arranging concerts to raise money for the Humane Society, of which he was pocketing a chunk of it. So you can imagine he was like, oh, it's for charity.
Yeah.
And giving a little bit just to show that he's actually making money for the charity.
Yeah.
Which gave him some insight into how the music industry worked, and this is how he progressed. In 1940, there was a government decision to introduce the Alien Registration Act, which meant anyone living in America illegally could come forward and declare themselves without any repercussions.
Yeah.
And they could apply to become a full US citizen. Parker didn't take this chance, as he thought he was untouchable if he was a citizen of nowhere. His side hustle arranging concerts for country music took off, meaning he could leave his job at the Humane Society. He decided to visit Nashville and approached a young crooner named Eddie Arnold about becoming his manager. Arnold agreed to Parker becoming his manager and taking 25% commission for his services. So managers of that time would only usually take 10 or 15%. So he was taking 25%.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. In 1948, Parker reached another milestone in his reinvention. With an appetite for exaggerating his credentials, he had sometimes called himself Doctor. Now, as a reward for helping a former Carney buddy get Jimmy David elected governor of Louisiana, Parker was awarded the honorary title of Colonel in the Louisiana State Militia? I don't know. Is a state
Militia.
Militia. Is that how it? Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Louisiana State Militia. From that point, the former army deserter insisted on being addressed as Colonel Tom Parker. Parker's deal to represent only Eddie Arnold flourished until 1953, when Arnold found out Parker had been booking other acts, like Hank Snow, on the side and fired him. The colonel was humiliated and for a time looked outside the music business for new opportunities. By the summer of 1955, Parker was back in the music game and booked Snow on a Grand Ole Opry package tour of Florida with Farron Young and Slim Whitman. He hired a Jacksonville school teacher and aspiring songwriter named Mae Axton to help promote the concerts. Parker got wind of a buzz developing about one of the new performers touring Florida, a young singer from Memphis named Elvis Presley. Presley had a terrific voice and evoked a raw sexuality up to this time unseen in conservative country package shows. Parker was at the baseball stadium in Jacksonville on May 13, 1955, when Presley announced to his screaming audience, "Girls, I'll see you backstage." Female fans chased Presley down to his dugout dressing room, mobbed this young singer, and tore off his shirt.
Yeah, I would have done the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Parker witnessed it all. From that point, Axton recounted she could see the dollar marks in Parker's eyes.
Ooh.
So you imagine that cartoon like, ka-ching.
Tom and Jerry.
Literally that. Since Presley was not yet 21, Parker made getting in his parents' good graces top priority. As we know, Elvis was devoted to his parents, particularly his mother. Parker paid to bring them to a show in Daytona Beach and made sure they knew he had bought their son a fancy new suit in which to perform. When Parker found out Gladys was a big fan of Hank Snow, he arranged a personal meet and greet. Although Vernon was impressed with Parker and believed he had his son's best interests at heart, Elvis told friends that Gladys never fully trusted the promoter. Wise woman.
Mm-hmm.
Parker challenged Sam Phillips, who owned Elvis's contract, to name his price, to sell the contract to a major recording studio. Phillips, the man who discovered Presley, Howlin' Wolf, Johnny Cash, and Jerry Lee Lewis, shot him a number he thought Parker could never meet. $35,000. So back in the 1950s, how much would that have been?
Let me check.
A lot.
A lot. Tom's going to have a look because he needs to look.
Yeah, you can add 100,000 to that.
Mm-hmm. Basically, it's an
Astronomical.
amount for a relatively unknown singer's contract. So $35,000 was...
456,000.
Jesus!
Yeah. So basically, you can see why they're like, how is it?
Wow.
Parker convinced executive at RCA Record to sign on. On November 21st, 1955, Parker strong-armed Elvis Presley's contract away from Phillips and Sun Records. Later in the 1950s, after a show in La Crosse, Wisconsin, an urgent message on the letterhead of a local Catholic diocese newspaper was sent to the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover. It warned that Presley is a definite danger to the security of the United States. His actions and motions were such as to rouse the sexual passions of teenage youth. After the show, more than 1,000 teenagers tried to gang into Presley's room at the auditorium. Indications of the harm Presley did just in La Crosse were the two high school girls, whose abdomen and thigh had Presley's autograph.
Ooh.
How dare they?
Good.
I think somebody's a bit jealous of Elvis there, aren't they? There's thousands of girls trying to get into his...
Before stepping on stage for Presley's second Milton Berle show appearance, Milton Berle persuaded Presley to leave his guitar backstage during the performance. Presley abruptly halted an up-tempo rendition of Hound Dog and launched into a slow grinding version accentuated with exaggerated body movements.
Ooh.
So you can imagine how Elvis used to dance with his hips. He was very... Yeah. And without his guitar...
You could see it all.
Yeah. Of course, this created a storm of controversy. Jack Gould of the New York Times wrote, Mr. Presley has no discernible singing ability. His phrasing, if it can be called that, consists of the stereotyped variations that go with a beginner's aria in a bathtub. His one speciality is an accented movement of the body, primarily identified with a repertoire of the blonde bombshells of the burlesque runway.
What?
Ben Gross of the New York Daily News suggested that popular music has reached its lowest depths in the grunt and groin antics of one Elvis Presley. Elvis, who rotates his pelvis, gave an exhibition that was suggestive and vulgar, tinged with the kind of animalism that should be confined to dives and Bordeaux. Yeah. Ed Sullivan, whose variety show was the nation's most popular, declared Presley unfit for family viewing. To Presley's displeasure, he soon found himself being referred to as Elvis the Pelvis, which he called childish.
Well, it is.
It is childish.
Elvis the Pelvis.
Oh look, there's Elvis the pelvis. Yeah. And he's damn sexy. What
because
the fuck?
he moves his pelvis. We call him Elvis the pelvis.
You've definitely got
So
that.
clever.
Devil in you.
imaginative. Presley made his third and final Ed Sullivan Show appearance on January the 6th, 1957. On this occasion, they shot only down to the waist.
Oh yeah, I remember that. They couldn't shoot him from the waist down for a while.
Yep. Just literally had his head.
Just, yeah.
Torso. Some commentators have claimed that Parker orchestrated an appearance of censorship to generate publicity. However, as critic Greil Marcus describes, Presley did not tie himself down. Leaving behind the bland clothes he had worn on the first two shows, he stepped out in the outlandish costume of Pasha, if not harem girl. From the makeup over his eyes, the hair falling in his face, the overwhelmingly sexual cast of his mouth, he was playing Rudolph Valentino in The Chic, with all the stops out. At the end of the show, Sullivan declared Presley a real decent, fine boy. 2 days later, the Memphis Draft Board announced that Presley would be classified 1A and would probably be drafted sometime that year.
I was always confused by him being drafted.
Yeah, it's because he wasn't...
That famous.
Wasn't conforming.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the word,
Right,
He wasn't conforming with society.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On March 24th, 1958, Elvis was drafted into the army. Early August, his mother was diagnosed with hepatitis caused by the large amounts of alcohol she was drinking due to the stress and worry over her son. Her condition rapidly worsened, and Presley was granted emergency leave to visit her. 2 days after arriving back home, Gladys died of heart failure at the age of 46.
46?
Really young.
My gosh, that's nothing. Oh, that's so sad.
Presley was devastated and never the same. Their relationship had remained extremely close. Even into his adulthood, they would use baby talk with each other, and Presley would address her with pet names.
Aww.
The following year, Vernon Presley started dating Dolores Stanley, a divorced mother of 3. The two were married in 1960, the same year Elvis was honorably discharged from the army. Elvis took this as betrayal and was never close to his father afterwards.
No.
With his mum gone and his dad out of the picture, Parker became the dominant adult figure in Presley's life, as well as the overlord of his career. He dictated all the financial deals, what Elvis would wear, how he would enter town, where and when he would perform, and the songs he would sing. Parker poured endless work into promoting Presley's performances and films. After a few busy years of acting roles in 1968, 27 films, Parker had shifted Elvis's plans to television. He maneuvered a deal with NBC that committed the network to finance a theatrical feature broadcast as a Christmas special. An informal segment was planned featuring Presley talking to members of his entourage in a scripted conversation that was to show him as a self-deprecating?
Self-deprecating, yeah.
Yeah,
self-deprecating. I even said it wrong then. Deprecating while discussing his film performances. A gospel number would be added as well as a live stand-up performance. The Christmas song requested by Parker would then be played, and the special would close with a spoken statement by Presley. According to director Binder, Parker wanted Elvis to come out in a tux and sing Christmas songs.
You mean a Christmas special?
Binder, however, wanted Presley to express his feelings about the current social climate, as Presley had been moved by the recent assassinations of Senator Robert F. Kennedy and Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. King's assassination deeply touched Presley, who felt that the murder, which occurred in Memphis, Tennessee, only confirmed everyone's worst feeling about the South. For the show's close, Binder decided to replace the spoken statement with a song. He instructed Goldenberg and lyricist Walter Earl Brown to write a song that reflected Presley and his beliefs, and Brown wrote If I Can Dream.
What a song.
I don't know that one, I'm so sorry.
That same night.
Epic.
It's like, if I could dream of a brother man.
Rather walk hand in hand, tell me why.
You need to watch it, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
caught in
do.
an alien.
It was that like moment that was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
scene in the film is fucking awesome.
Oh,
Just
it's
like
beautiful.
Elvis goes against everyone.
So yeah, they wrote that the same night basically.
Right.
Binder sent it to Parker, who still thought that the show closer was to be "I'll Be Home for Christmas."
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah,
I do love that song.
I love that song, but they were like, "No, let's do what Elvis wants to do."
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Parker was like, "No, I want my Christmas special."
Yeah, sounds right.
After Parker's negative response to the song, Binder bypassed him and played the song for Presley. After hearing it 3 times, Presley was convinced that he should record it. Seeing Presley's determination, Parker demanded 100% of the publishing rights.
What?
Goldberg removed his name from the publishing sheet and told Parker that Brown had written the song. For the If I Can Dream number, Presley wore a 3-piece white suit designed by Bellew.
Yeah, I think it's Bellew.
A large sign in red letters that read Elvis was placed on a black background, and Presley performed the song with a handheld microphone.
Mm.
After finishing the song, Presley closed the special by saying, "Thank you and good night."
Gentlemen.
Literally that.
Thank you, good night.
No, I'm done. After the taping of the first sit-down session, Presley called Parker to his dressing room to inform him that he wanted to return to touring. During a press conference, Parker announced that Presley would soon embark on a comeback tour. Parker's choice of words angered Presley, who felt that he was being labelled as a has-been. Presley was also interested in further collaboration with Binder, but Parker avoided it. So yeah, basically, he's a has-been. Like, oh, he's coming back.
Jesus.
I'm still in my prime, God. Presley was keen to resume regular live performing. Following the success of the comeback special, offers came in from around the world. The London Palladium offered Parker $28,000, so it's equivalent to $233,000 last year, for a 1-week engagement. He responded, "That's fine for me. Now how much can you get for Elvis?"
Ooh, love it.
Yes.
Fair play.
Amazing.
No, but that's right though.
It's not right.
No,
but it's...
as in that's not enough for Elvis.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, it's not enough for Elvis, but like he wanted to take that amount for himself. Like,
That's such a sassy line. I love that.
he is-
That's all right for me, but
how about the actual main act?
I love that.
When the brand new International Hotel in Las Vegas opened, boasting the largest showroom in the city, they booked Presley for 57 shows over 4 weeks. After the success of the shows, Parker's negotiations with the hotel resulted in a 5-year contract for Presley to play each February and August at an annual salary of $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
That's a shady deal as well.
He agreed this without first getting Elvis's consent. Twice during the year of 1973, Presley overdosed on barbiturates, spending 3 days in a coma in his hotel suite after the first incident.
In his hotel suite?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah. In the International Hotel, he had a suite, and you just...
I didn't know that.
He lived there pretty much.
Oh my god.
I considered that.
Crazy scary.
In late 1973, he was hospitalized from the effects of pethidine addiction. I think it's
Looks
pethidine.
good enough to me.
According to his primary care physician, George C. Nikopoulos, Presley felt that by getting drugs from a doctor, he wasn't the common everyday junkie getting something off the streets. Just a little quick note. So he was against drug use and all that sort of stuff. So by taking prescription drugs, he was like, I'm not a druggie.
He's got a point.
He has, but...
I get it, because it's not made in a bathtub.
What I think about when you go to the doctor's for pills, the reason that the doctor is trying to get you pills is probably because a pretty lady in a dress sold them to him. Sometimes, maybe that's controversial, but...
I want your doctor.
Yeah, so he thought he was being sensible. And he thought nothing could go wrong, basically.
He could have been doing worse. He could have been doing better.
Yeah.
I know you might get to it, but the doctors were not turning him down. So as
don't
far as you're concerned, if you're Elvis and you're going to a doctor, you're like, can I have this? And they're like, yeah, okay, if you want. He's like, okay, well, a medical professional said you can have this, which means he's not like overdosing because he's not being told to dose.
The fact is, Elvis didn't have to do that. He would go to someone and someone would go, here's a load of pills. These will help you go on stage and have loads of energy.
Yeah.
Then these will help you sleep.
Yeah.
Then these will help you have everyday life. Is what they did to celebrities and people at that time.
That's it. Uppers and downers will fuck your head.
Yeah. If we had the same pills that Elvis had back then, we'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like, it is amazing what he did to people back then.
Yeah, that's it.
Since his comeback, he had staged more live shows with each passing year, and 1973 saw 168 concerts, his busiest schedule ever. Despite his failing health, he undertook another intensive touring schedule in 1974.
It's crazy.
Presley's condition declined drastically that September. Keyboardist Tony Brown remembered his arrival at a University of Maryland concert. Yeah, so it was a concert there. Mm-hmm. He fell out of the limousine to his knees. People jumped to help, and he pushed them away, like, don't help me. More like, don't help me. He walked on stage and held onto the mic for the first 30 minutes like it was a post. So using it as like a stability sort of thing. Everybody's looking at each other like, is the tour going to happen? Guitarist John Wilkinson recalled, he was all gut. He was slurring. He was so fucked up. It was obvious he was drugged. It was obvious there was something terribly wrong with his body. It was so bad, the words to the songs were barely intelligible. I remember crying. He could barely get through the introductions.
Oh my god, that's so awful.
It's fucking horrible.
Like guitarist as well, he's immense.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's got
true.
Yeah.
what's his pink Telecaster is like his signature guitar. His most beautiful guitar you see.
Parker had Elvis performing up to 3 times a night, 7 days a week at the same hotel for 7 years.
That's ridiculous.
He would give Elvis a secret sauce to keep him going. And as Elvis saw Parker as a father figure, he did as he was told. It was said that at one point, Elvis did not leave the house for up to 30 days.
Oh my god, that's awful.
Mm-hmm. He never carried any money on him, so always had to go to the colonel and wasn't paid an advance salary. Everything went to the colonel. Like literally.
It's
like
nuts.
he dealt with
It's so
everything.
fucked.
Elvis's dream was to tour outside of the US, but of course, due to Parker's citizenship, he would not be able to go with him, so he refused Elvis to leave, basically. Which is why I think he did the contract with the hotel, so he can trap him in and be like, at least here, I can keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Towards the end of Elvis's life, Parker was heard making fun of Elvis's weight gain.
It's his fucking fault.
Have you seen the state of Parker?
The fuck? He was hardly huge.
And he wasn't good looking. At least Elvis was still good
Yeah,
looking
fucking
when
hell,
he
he
gained
was
weight.
always gorgeous.
Elvis.
Oh, that's just annoyed me.
It's-
I'll
Do you know
sit up for Elvis.
Calm your fucking self
Right,
down.
That's it.
Do you know what's the best though? When you look at fat Elvis fingers,
Oh my god, yeah.
he is less than an average man in the UK.
He's smaller than me.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, literally, his face was swollen from all the fluids, from all the like drugs and shit that he was taking. It wasn't even that he was fat. He was chubby, but he also had the extra fluid.
Compare him to other artists of that time. Compare him to how Judy Garland got. Compare him to how every other artist that was going through the same thing got.
Yeah,
It happened to all of them.
he just filled out because
That's what happened.
he was eating like shit. He was taking shit. You know, he was having a hard time. So
He was
of course he's
being
going to
given
gain all
shit.
that weight.
When we say taking shit, it's because he was given shit. You're
He was-
given uppers and
He was
told
given
that
the
they'll...
secret sauce.
Give me some of that sauce. Maybe when we sing fucking nice. Sorry, if anyone's on looking and watching the video, see me scowl my phone. I'd looking at Elvis's heaviest weight, and it said 160 kilos. I can't believe that looking at him.
How much is that in
He
stone?
was
Wow.
quite tall though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I'm... Right, okay. Kane was 350 pounds. That's the same.
That's half though what he was. Oh, wait, did you say kilo? A kilo,
No, yeah.
stone and pounds, it all goes.
So-
I need stone, otherwise it can't work.
Go in the garden, there's plenty of stone
One
out there.
stone.
Right, so, saying 160 kilos, which is enormous. 25 stone. Elvis is not.
That is not enormous.
25 stone?
Yeah, no.
He was 25 stone at the end.
That's what they're saying,
There's
but
no fucking chance. I mean, how tall was he? 6 foot?
yeah.
Yeah. But it was fluid, wasn't it? So, like, I know I
Yeah.
keep saying that, but it's like, it
Still.
wasn't just a massive guy. It was that, it's like, if he took his apple cider vinegar, he'd lose all that fluid.
It was just a bit of fat. Calm down, guys.
But if you
Bit of
look,
fat.
you look at obviously muscles way heavier than fat. Elvis didn't exercise. He didn't. He looked.
At his shows,
Right.
he fucking went.
Okay, he didn't
He did
muscle build.
Karate. He did karate.
Right, he didn't muscle build.
I didn't know that.
So building muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was
So-
pure fat, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kane at his biggest, who's a monster of WWF or WWE now, he weighed that weight. So like you're talking a 6'8" massive human, and they're saying Elvis weighed the same. No,
He's insane. Kane is insane.
Yeah. there's
But-
no
But
similarities.
there's like difference between like a dumpy fat and a
Also,
spread out fat. Do you
I
know what I
think I feel like when you see Elvis, he is not spread out. I don't know about other people's opinions, but I feel like it was just his sort of face and
Like
torso.
Yeah.
Like his arms and legs were not fat.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't think
Which is what
No.
makes me think that's more of a drug sort of.
exactly.
It's a bloating,
Because it's
yeah.
not all
Yeah.
over.
I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works right now. One of the sexiest men to ever live, Barry White. Big guy, sexy voice. Why is it such a problem when Elvis got fat? That he was.
Because of the time period. Because if you look at different time periods, when fat people have come in, it's because that was popular at the time. I mean, if you look at the Mamas and Papas, the lead singer was chubby. She was a chubby lady. And what did they do with that? When she died, they said, well, she choked on a sandwich because she was chubby. And that's what people do.
Yeah, just
Like, it's just
eat to
different.
death.
Then it was
If
like
you have
Elvis.
a chubby singer now that passes away, you're not going to be
Oh,
like,
she's an
well,
inspiration.
she was chubby. That's how she passed away. You won't say that, but in the 60s, it was a big thing to be fat.
Yeah.
Like they said when Elvis died, he died on the toilet eating a burger.
Oh, so
Yeah,
shit.
oh.
Such bullshit.
He read a
Obviously.
book in his bathroom.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
Burger, who eats a burger on the toilet? I've always thought this. Anyone ever eaten a burger on the toilet?
I eat it on the way there, but
I finish it before it goes to
And-
that, actually.
by the time I've closed the microwave door, it's already fucking gone. But and when people are like, "Oh, Elvis died in the bathroom," we're all thinking like in a normal house, their bathroom size. Elvis's bathroom was not the normal bathroom. It was
Yeah.
carpeted. It had like, oh man.
I thought it was
Oh.
marble.
So basically, I'm not going to get into this so much. It's not in my story, but from all the drugs that he was taking, he was actually clogged up.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on the toilet, and then the autopsy showed that his intestines were like,
Enlarged.
yeah, they were ginormous basically.
Yeah.
And so he hadn't been to the loo for God knows how long. And also, he had like a strain in his eye where he was obviously trying to get it out of his system.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
in his
I didn't know
autopsy. So that's why it's like, oh, he died on the toilet. It's like, well, yeah, because he was in so much pain and he's like hadn't been to the toilet. He was trying to get it out,
that.
but then also it was just the fact that it was drugs. It stopped his heart.
Also, he had a shitty diet. I mean, it was amazing. If
Yeah.
I would stick to his diet, I'd love it.
Yeah,
But he ate like shit. Like, he had like peanut butter on chicken. Or I don't know if it's
fried
real.
peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it's true. It's just what I've heard.
It's peanut butter, banana, and jelly
When
was
you
his
go
sandwich.
to a third bird, they have the Elvis sandwich. And
That's
it's
it, yeah.
peanut butter on fried chicken in a sandwich.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, lush.
I think that's like inspired from it, but I don't think there was chicken in it. I think it was just what
Did
was
order
it?
last time I went
Yeah.
and it was
PBJ.
amazing.
But I'd live one week in Elvis's life to give him my entire life.
Oh, 100%.
That guy
No, I
lived.
wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be a celebrity with people looking at me.
Oh, I'd fucking
Yeah.
love it.
Maybe like when he was before the army, again, as what I said, before the army, when he was like still like hopeful to the
Yeah,
world.
I always thought after the army was when he was like
That's when he got
his
big and
head,
famous.
but you're
and that,
right. Yeah, it was before
was,
the army that he
definitely.
was being himself.
Before the army, he was able to kind of still be himself, do what he wanted to do. And then after the army, he got
Controlled,
tied down. He was always being controlled, but
way worse.
So sad.
I'm just going to finish off my story now. Sorry, that was a bit of a. We're still going for a little bit of a rant after this.
It's probably
It's gonna be-
A really
It's
long
me.
ass.
It's me because I know I'm not getting my bus.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So she's like, and another thing.
The floodgates have opened.
Tell you something.
Just wait until you look. Literally, when I read this next bit, well, obviously I'm going to finish the story, but when I tell you a little bit after, you're going to lose your shit.
Oh shit.
I'm ready. I'm ready to lose my shit.
I thought this bit, like, not this bit I'm going to say, but in a
I'm gonna
bit,
be livid.
Tamsin's going to love.
Am I going to South Park cry like?
Parker worked Elvis like a mule to feed his gambling addiction. When Elvis found out the Colonel was in big debt with the casinos, he tried to fire the Colonel. But sadly, the Colonel was sneaky. He drew up an invoice for what he claimed Elvis owed him. He knew Elvis wouldn't be able to pay the large sum, so Presley eventually went back to working for the Colonel.
What?
I can't remember the exact sum, but it was stupid, and he literally wrote down exactly everything bit by bit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why would he owe him that much?
Can you remember what he put, like, literally from, like, transportation to, like, booking gigs, food?
It was, he put every single thing that Elvis had, literally back to the 50s.
So from when he started his actual management with Elvis.
Clothing and stuff like that.
Clothing, food, drinks, tablets,
Yeah.
air pressure in the tyres, anything.
Oh my God.
Literally anything you could think of, he was like, oh, I'm going to bill you for that. So obviously. So, 2 weeks before his death, Elvis collapsed before one of his shows. Parker stormed into the room and the doctor was dunking Elvis's head into a bucket of ice water.
What?
He turned to Elvis's hairstylist and stared coldly into his eyes and said, now you listen to me. The only thing that's important is that man is on stage tonight. Nothing else matters. Nothing.
Oh my God.
Elvis died 2 weeks later, obviously, on the 16th of August, 1977.
That is so sad.
And see. Yeah, so I've got some little notes after this, so just to tell you guys. So Elvis actually wanted to tour outside the US. He was really like eager to get out there, tour around, but the Colonel was like, "Oh no, you don't need that. You know, no, you won't make it out there.
Yeah, he would have.
Just stay here.
Oh my
stay
God!
here.
If he
You're
had
fine."
come to Britain, we would have loved him.
Yeah.
We would have, and basically, yeah. So it's basically because the Colonel couldn't go with him because of his citizenship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one
sucks.
thing. Elvis never knew Tom Parker was a fraud. So he knew that he was in debt with the casinos and stuff, but he never knew that Tom Parker wasn't Tom Parker. He was actually Andreas. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'd say that was the actual last one. So the song I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston was written originally by Dolly Parton. Elvis wanted to sing that song. He loved it. He was like, can I do a recording of that? I absolutely love that song. It's brilliant. Tom Parker. And he said to Dolly Parton, sell me the publishing rights, is it? Yeah, all the publishing. I want 100% of the publishing. And she was like, what? And he was like, oh, no, okay, give me 50%. And she was like, no, that song means too much to me. You are not having that. Like, she loved Elvis, but she just didn't like Tom Parker, so she was
smart. She was a smart.
So smart. She was like, that's too personal to me. No, so she obviously let Whitney Houston obviously sing it.
She sang it first.
Yeah, she sang it first.
And then
it was her song.
Yeah.
Her song, so she was sang it.
It's very different to Whitney's Houston's.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%, because Dolly's very unique.
Yeah.
So it's completely different. And Elvis did sing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about that song is that Elvis actually sang that to Priscilla because they got married then divorced, which I didn't cover in the story because I thought it wasn't really relevant to the story. But as they were leaving the courtroom after the divorce, he was singing that song to Priscilla. Like, just like walking out with her, like, I will always love you. And I thought that was really fucking cute.
I don't...
Yeah.
I just thought Priscilla and Elvis were perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect. They were the most beautiful couple ever.
It really pisses me off that people nowadays are like, oh no, she was only 14, how dare she? It's like, oh fuck off.
Johnny Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin.
It was
Like,
a different...
It was a different time.
It was a different time. Doesn't make it right. However, if you were 14 and you had Elvis Presley, like, interested in you, fuck right you'd go for it.
This is the thing that any other girl out there who was 14...
Or man.
Or man, yeah, let's not be sexist
Fucking
here.
Christ.
Yeah, seriously.
You'd go for it. 100%. So, yeah, I thought that was really cute. So, there's this recording. So, when he did a live show of Love Me Tender, and a dispute went on, and one of his band members got fired, and he was pissed off at Tom Parker. So he sang Love Me Tender, but he actually, like, as he was singing it, he was saying something like, oh, I can't remember the actual thing, but it was like, he was stabbing at Tom Parker, basically. So he was singing the song, and he would say, like, a little, like, snidey comment, and then carry on, like, singing.
I love that shit.
Oh, my God.
I love that. It's
So
so
fucking,
nuts.
like, sneaky.
So sassy and sneaky.
Yeah.
That's when he's on stage and he's like, I know Tom, Colonel Tom's got lots of debts,
Yeah,
and
so
stares over to him. He's like,
Yeah, so that was
Oh
in
my
the film.
God.
So he never did that, actually. That was dramatised
Was
in
it?
the film. Yeah.
oh, damn it.
It was because I can't remember why this dispute was. I didn't really look into it, to be honest, but maybe the next time. But yeah, he was pissed at Tom Parker for some reason, and he but in the film it's really good because it portrays it as he fires him on stage, and he's like, you're fired. That never happened, but there was an instance when he did actually publicly on stage
Talk to him and say shit like that. Yeah.
share
the
share
thing
his
with
displease.
If you've got a Hollywood film about a celebrity, it will always be Hollywood-fied.
Yeah.
And I say this because I don't like big Hollywood movies.
No.
I like bigger, smaller movies with independent people because they do it better.
And they do the research,
I
yeah.
still want to watch
because-
this movie.
It's because they don't have the Hollywoodies, like, oh, it must be this way.
And also, it's fine to have the first half an hour as slow. I think Hollywood forget that you're telling an actual real story, but you can have that first half an hour as
Yeah.
slow and then get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although in my brain, I'm too impatient, so I'm like, just get into it.
I
Please,
love
no.
a movie when it's true and it's to the story,
Yeah.
and then I can
Oh,
look
100%.
into it and it's not far off what's happened. And
Yeah.
when it's Hollywood fine, I just get really annoyed.
That film, to be honest, is pretty much spot on.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's
the one
such a
with
good
Austin
film.
Butler.
I definitely will watch it.
Yeah.
I don't even know the dude from it, and he's. I'm seeing him. He's so handsome.
Well,
So I thought he was just a pretty boy. I was like, oh yeah, he's alright. And then I watched the film and I was like, god damn.
Wow.
Well, you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, haven't you, Tamsin? He's the Tex in it, the killer.
Oh.
Well, credit to Austin Butler. He was such, like, he dived straight into Elvis. He used to sing his songs like his hotel room just over and over again to get into to learn them. He had to get someone to teach him to speak normally again because he lived so long as Elvis.
So also, he had to get lots of therapy and stuff because of all the karate and all the moves that he was doing. He dislocated his knee. He popped his hip out and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he did so much because of how Elvis moves. Like, he was really
Yeah, you have
I want to say
be-
gangly, but not gangly, but
It's flowy, isn't it?
Control of it.
Yeah.
He was gangly, but in control of the gangliness. That's
Yeah.
what made it kind of sexy because it wasn't something you'd seen before. It was kind of like his own movement. It wasn't just thrusting, was it? It was.
it was everything.
It was something completely.
He was a best, wasn't he? He's so
Yeah.
fucking good.
He was so good, and then Austin Butler, he was actually training the karate. He was doing tap dance. He was doing all these different dances, just so he can get everything spot on.
I
and
love
he
that
did it,
about when
And
actors do that.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
love the film then because if you watch the footage of Elvis on his live shows, and then you see Austin Butler do stuff, it's brilliant.
I've
He
watched
gets
a
it
lot of
so
live.
spot on. He's the
Sorry.
perfect actor for. I will forgive you.
So sorry.
He was such a perfect actor for that because he took it so seriously, and yeah, as Tom said, after doing the role, he then had to get therapy and speech therapy to get himself back to himself because he was talking like Elvis. You see on TikTok and everything, there's videos of Austin Butler before Elvis, and he's really quite chirpy. Then after Elvis, he's like, oh yeah, how you doing? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
so
how they
cool.
do it.
I've got one more point. This is the point that you will love.
Okay.
So, okay. So you know Parker,
No.
Colonel Tom Parker,
Yeah.
and he fled the Netherlands.
Yeah.
The night that he fled the
Oh my
Netherlands,
god. Yeah.
there was a lady. So, a lady was found, down the road
Mhm.
from where Colonel Tom Parker's family lived,
Mhm.
dead.
Mm.
Someone with a brute force had hit her on the back of the head with a blunt object. Her brain, so hard that her brain came out of her ears.
Damn.
No. And whoever did it had a bit of compassion because they're like, oh shit, what did I do? They tried to bandage the head up,
Mhm.
push the brain back in.
Yep.
And to stop it bleeding.
Yeah.
And then Colonel Parker was obviously gone. Another thing, just to add to this, so keep that in mind.
Mhm.
So Colonel Parker, he was a sneaky bugger. He liked his money. He liked doing his stuff. He learned from his granddad that this is how you are sneaky in the world. He left behind everything. All his prized possessions, all his money that he earned from the circus before he moved to America.
What?
And he just went, which was very unlike him.
When
Same night, this woman died.
Seriously.
So,
Do you know what I like the most about that? Is the... Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I just push that broom.
yeah, I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
Shove it away.
Let me just push
Yeah.
it back in your ear.
That's like setting fire to your house and throwing a cup of water in it. Shit, fucking hell.
And then this guy who's been panicked over money and done anything to exploit anyone has suddenly gone, oh, I don't care about money anymore, I'm just going to run away.
Yeah. For no reason in particular.
But it wasn't him.
No.
And it's never been solved.
It has. I've just solved it.
She just
He
solved
did it. He did it, guys.
Tamsin solved it.
He
Signed
did
off.
it.
I don't want to bring your hopes up or anything, but yes, definitely.
Exactly. 100% he did it.
Guys.
Hi.
I'm speaking to those guys, not you.
Oh.
Well, I could be speaking to you guys, but you know already.
We're
But-
here are those guys.
If you are Elvis fans, you should probably know about the Jordanaires, his backing group. But one man,
Oh.
JD Summer.
Well.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was another thing I was going to say as well.
Right, and so
You carry on.
there's a dog drinking water. But anyway, look at JD Summers. There's like a compilation on YouTube of his low notes. It's absolutely ridiculous. I played it through the sub of when I had a subwoofer in my car.
Yeah,
I was like,
remember.
In his Yaris.
what? Yeah.
Them's were the days.
Oh,
But-
honestly.
Also, the Jordanaires, Elvis used to get, when he was like feeling down, he would get them to come into the room with him and sing gospel music to him to cheer him up and make him feel better again.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that? Those guys, all the voices are like the
beautiful.
best on
Like,
the planet.
Honestly, the bass of his
Yeah,
voice
it
and like
is
just all of them together
ridiculous.
is so nice on your ears. And just quickly, sorry, you reminded me. So the song "Way
Song.
Down" by Elvis was the
Oh.
last song he ever recorded, but there's a conspiracy behind the song because the lyrics kind of link into his actual death.
Yeah.
So that's why there's so many conspiracies about Elvis isn't dead. Because I heard him on the radio.
Oh, don't you dare to say that song. Don't you disgrace Elvis with that fucking song.
It's
Yeah.
a weird conspiracy that he's still alive.
But yeah, we'll probably go
Home
into
Alone
that
as well. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Oh,
We'll go
sorry,
into that.
sorry. I was gonna say
in
it
some
looks just like
conspiracy episodes.
No, I think that came up in one of our previous episodes. As
it
well.
did, but yeah,
it did,
basically.
and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
that.
If you're
scene.
into the Elvis conspiracy, you know he was alive.
And-
He didn't kill himself. I think it was an escape. I think it was I'm gonna pretend I died, make it look like I died for the Colonel, and let me get the fuck out of here.
100%.
I don't know, but I want to know more about all of that, like what happened after he died and the conspiracies about him being alive. I mean, I've seen some of them, and I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, sure thing.
But yeah, I'm obsessed with that stuff. I love listening to the conspiracies.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
So cool.
But I'm definitely gonna get Simon to throw up a picture. There's when Elvis's procession went past his house, over there somewhere. Went past his house. Obviously, he was dead. there's like pictures of the front of Graceland, and there is a man that's so unmistakably Elvis sat in a chair looking through the window.
Yeah.
That's mental. So
if you don't believe in ghosts, then you'll be like, oh, that's
Yeah.
just someone sat there. But then if you believe in ghosts, oh, it's Elvis. If you believe in conspiracies, you're like, shit, he's alive.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Elvis, I truly believe Elvis would do it.
Yeah.
Would say that he's dead and then appear in pictures in the background. I truly believe that Elvis
Yeah.
would have done that.
But like, because he was so poorly on all the drugs and stuff that he was taking, I don't think he was in the right mind. So I kind of think, yeah, okay, he did die. He wasn't in the right state to decide, let me fake my own death.
But
Him with it.
imagine that a month before he died, he came off all of those drugs and he had an epiphany and he was like, if I go back on these drugs, they will kill me. If I do all these things that they want me to do, they will kill me. So I'll just say that I'm dead and do this stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 2 weeks before when he actually collapsed off the drugs.
Yeah.
That's when he came round and he was like, fuck, I'm going to get off these drugs.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fake my own death and get out of this fucking shit because it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
Because I love a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
I'm
100%,
not a conspiracy theorist. I don't buy into a lot of stuff. But his last
I think
song,
that's bullshit.
Way On Down, is so weird to me. Like,
Oh
every
my
time
God,
I listen
yeah.
to it, I'm like, what the fuck?
It is weird.
It's a-
It's a really
weird.
good song.
It's a great song. Oh my god, it's great.
Especially the end.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, JD Summer.
It's eerie.
But it's the
Yeah,
I think it's,
so good.
what's the lyric in it? It's like 100 magic fingers. I think there was 10 surgeons, which is
100 magic fingers.
Yeah. so you got 10 surgeons working on him.
Which is 100
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
there's
good.
also another lyric that's really spooky. But anyway, listen
Yeah.
to the song and
Yeah.
listen to the lyrics. It does match up to his actual death.
It really does in a very weird
Oh,
way.
it's
but
so creepy.
Donnie,
very strange.
I've got a side note just before we finish it, but a lot of people, like big celebrities, when they get so like astronomically famous, they can't go anywhere without people just harassing them.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the same with Tupac. When he died, there was like, I think about 10 years later, there was a car park full of all these like people that were known to him, and then as a man, it was Tupac. It was the resemblance was uncanny. You'd never mistake it for another human.
No.
And then there was one where someone followed MJ's
oh my god, yeah.
ambulance to the coroner
Yeah.
office, and then a man walked out looking exactly like Michael
He got
Jackson.
out.
Yeah.
That was a great episode, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry it went on so long. I'm
no,
not
you
sorry.
need it for Elvis.
It could have
Yeah.
been so much longer.
Could have been.
There's so many more things to it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, congratulations. And we'll
You get a
see
special treat.
you get a treat.
Ooh!
And a punch.
Shall we fucking headbutt on the table? We wanted.
Oh,
It's because of her treat, I think.
wow.
Fuck you.
No, he doesn't know the word treat.
Fly.
Alright, anyway, right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week in our next episode.
Woohoo!
Bye.